Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava Batra, page 91b, part 2, with the words Asher Ba'alu Moav. Shinasu Nashim Moavios, V'yashvi Lechem, Zu Rus HaMoaviyah, Shishava V'nidbeka Beis Lechem Yehuda, V'hadvarim Atikim Divarim Halalu. Atik Yomai Amran Nichtiv Matzati David Avdi Uketiv Shte Benotecha Nimtzaot. Who had dominion in Moab? This means they married Moabite women. And Yashubi Lechem. This is referring to Ruth the Moabite, who returned and attached herself to Bethlehem of Judah. And the matters are ancient. This means that these matters were said by the Ancient of Days. In other words, they occurred through God's will, as it is written, I have found David my servant, Psalms 89:21. And the same term found also appeared with regard to the daughters of Lot, as it is written, your two daughters that are found here, Genesis 19:15. This teaches that David's ancestry can be traced this far back, as he was destined to be born from Moab, who was the son of Lot's daughter and Lot himself. Hema hayoitzrim v'yoishvin etoim v'gedero. אם המלך במלאך ישבו שם הם היוצרים אלו בני יונדב בן רחב שנצרו שבועת אביהם. The Gemara cites a Braita that analyzes the next verse. There were potters, these were potters, and those who dwelt among plantations and hedges. There they dwelt occupied in the king's work. 1 Chronicles 4:23. These were the potters, Yotzrim. These are the sons of Yonadav and son of Rechav, who kept Natzru, their father's oath. Yoshvei Nitayim, Ze Shlomo, Shedomen Lenetziose b'malchusoi, Ugedera Zu Zanhedrin, שגדרו פרוצויסיין של ישראל במלך מלך יהושע שם. זורוס המובייה אשר עשה במלך שלמה בן בנוי של בן בנו. שנאמר ויוסם כיסא לאם המלך ויאמר רבי אלעזר לאמא של מלכוס. Those who dwelt among the plantations, this is referring to Solomon, who in his kingship was similar to a plant. And hedges, Ugedera, this is the Sanhedrin, which fenced in the breaches of the Jewish people by means of ordinances. There they dwelt, occupied in the king's work. This is referring to Ruth the Moabite, who saw the kingdom of Solomon, the grandson of her grandson. As it is stated about Solomon, wow, Ruth must have been very old when she died. Wow. As it is stated about Solomon, and he caused a throne to be set for his king's mother, for the king's mother. The 1 Kings 2:19. And Rabbi Elazar says, this means for the mother of the dynasty of kingship, meaning Ruth. Tanu Rabbanan, V'achaltem min atvo yashan. Up, here's where it's getting interesting. This ties into the PL89. This is where the PL89 comes from. V'achaltem min atvo yashan. And you will eat from the old grain. Yeah, we gotta get that. Silal Ponis. 1366. 1572. Silal Ponis. V'achaltem min atvo yashan blo. Salvanton. My below Salmanton, Rav Nachman Amar, below Retzinta, Virav Sheshit Amar, below Shedifa. Since the Gemara had discussed times of famine in Eretz Yisrael, it concludes the chapter with a blessing in times of prosperity. The sages taught, when the verse states, and you shall eat of the produce of the old store, Leviticus 25:22, referring to the produce that was grown in the 6th year of the sabbatical cycle. This means without salmanton. The Gemara asks, what is the meaning of without salmanton? Rabbi Nachman said, without worms, ritzinta, that consume the produce. And Rav Sheshet said, without blight, which destroys the taste of the produce. Salmanton. 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 Let's see. 245. Salmanton. Maybe below Salmanton. Without Salmanton. Below Salmanton. 245 verses 278. Below Salmanton. Okay. Okay. Nice. Tanya Gavasa Tanya Gavasa Nachman. We learned a brisa in accordance to the opinion of Sheshes, and is taught another brisa in accordance to the opinion of Nachman. V'chal Yashin Yachal Yisrael Mitzap in the Chadash Pnei Yashin Shikola Tamad Loimer Oid Ba Tvasa Ad Shetavoid Tvasa Meilo. It is taught in brisa in accordance to the opinion of Nachman from the verse, and you shall sow the 8th year. This is the verse that the PL89 comes from. This is mamish the verse. This is how the whole sequence code was developed. So let's read this carefully and slowly and deliberately. Maybe some revelation will come from above. And you shall sow the 8th year. 8. And you shall eat the produce of the old store until the 9th year. 8 and 9. That is found in Leviticus 25:22. One might have thought that the Jewish people will wait for new produce because the old store has been destroyed. Therefore, the same verse says, until its produce comes in, to indicate that they will not stop eating the old produce until the new produce comes in, which means all of it will be fully ripe and edible, and until it is fully ripe, and they do not need to eat, need to eat old produce. The old produce will last. That's what it means. The old produce will last until then, and will not become worm infested, as stated by Rav Nachman. Rav Sheshes, we learned the brides in accordance with the opinion of Rav Sheshes, who says it means blight. It is taught in a bride in accordance with the opinion of Rav Sheshes from the verse, you shall eat the produce. One might have thought that the Jewish people will wait for the new produce due to the old store, because the old store will have gone bad, since blight will ruin the taste of the produce. Therefore, the verse states until its produce comes in, which indicates that they will not stop eating the produce until the new produce comes itself, as the stored produce will not suffer from blight. Tanu Rabbanan. Aviyov mechaveroi, ve'ein li la devom shedaken li yashin, devom she'ein daken li yashin minayin, tamaloi yashin nashin mikolokoim. The sages taught with regard to a verse in the chapter of the blessings, stated to the Jewish people, and you shall eat old store long kept. And you shall eat old store long kept. Leviticus 26:10. This teaches that any produce is older than all other produce of that same type will be better than the other produce. And I have derived that this is the case only with regard to items for which it is the normal manner to age them. From where do I derive, in the case of items for which it is not the normal manner to age them, for example, fruit, that they too will improve with age? The verse states, old store kept long kept. A general expression that indicates that in any case the land will keep its produce from spoiling, as all types of produce will improve with age. Mipnei biyoshin mipnei chadash totziu milam ajoy oizches melein yoshin v'garonois melein chadash v'hoy yischol oivrim heach noisi zeh mipnei zeh amar papa called Milei Atika Ma'alya Labar Mitamri Vishichra Biharsana. The continuation of the verse, you shall bring forth the old from the new, before the new, teaches that there will be storehouses full of old produce and threshing floors full of new produce. And the Jewish people will say, how will we manage to take out this produce from the storehouse before that produce is brought in? Rav Papa said everything that is old is superior in quality to the new, except for dates, liquor, and small fish, which are better when they are fresh. Hadron Allah Chamoicha Esasvina. We have completed the chapter of Hamoichel Esasvino of Bava Batra. We shall return to you. Yeah. God willing. Shall return.